Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too.
You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. You guys are all crazy. And I'm just stuck like on this train because I couldn't move. I just had all my stuff. And so it was just me and this guy, and I was like, I'm gonna die. Everything, like, I'm gonna blow up. See, he's got a bomb or something because he had this gas mask. So why everyone left, because he thought that he was gonna do something crazy.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Hyphenate with me, your host, Randy Randall. This is our show for Thursday, August 20th. On today's show, I'm very happy and honored to welcome my friend, Jacob Rubeck, on the show. He is of the band Surf Curse, also has a new band, Gap Girls, American Moon, Franco Years. Jacob's awesome. It's really funny. We talk about it in the interview, but we had played with Surf Curse years ago in Reno, I think, and Jacob had reached out to us and interviewed us for his newspaper in Las Vegas. I think when he was just a teenager, and it was a funny thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember this band. But my 10-year-old son heard Surf Curse on Fortnite and was playing the song in the car. And I'm like, how do you know this band? And he said, you've heard him on Fortnite. And it's like, I know this band. We played with this band. I think I know these guys. And so I reached out to Jacob to tell him, and he was blown away. It was a funny moment of life coming full circle in a funny way. And, so I reached out to him. I said, we should do an interview. So it was fun. I'm glad we got to do a fun Hyphenate interview here. Hope everybody's doing good. Had a fun weekend, hanging out with Dino for the 25th anniversary of PPM, Post Present Medium, Dean's record label. At the Smell. I actually saw Jacob there. He came out for the Abe Vigoda reunion. It was really fun to see Juan and Michael and Marissa and David and everybody from the Abe Vigoda band. That was really cool to see them back together. Also saw friends from Mika Miko, a new band, N-Dog, and so many friends, so many bands. Jane Pike from, what is her band called? Now, my brain is mush. Getting back into the swing of things, getting back into school. Hope everybody's hanging in there with the heat and kind of wrapping up summertime stuff. If you got kiddos, getting them back to school, getting back to some kind of regular schedule, it might be nice. That's kind of what we're doing here at the house. Awesome. All right. Well, here is the interview. Oh yeah. Go follow Jacob on Instagram. He is at Jacob, Jacob, then 2 underscores, Rubeck, Rubeck. Or you can just Google, you can just find Jacob Rubeck on all the socials. You can also follow Gap Girls on the socials. He's got a whole link tree there. You can follow or go to gapgirls.bandcamp.com to listen to the record, buy their records there. And then also go to his YouTube. At Jacob Rubeck on YouTube. I think he calls it out there. He's got videos up at Jacob Rubeck on YouTube. Do it. All right, everybody. Jacob, thanks so much for coming on Hyphenate, man. How's it going?
It's going good, Randy. How are you doing?
Good. What's happened? It's been so long. I think since I remember we played a show together in Reno.
We
in probably
did.
2010. Is that 16 years ago? Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, 2010 or
Cool.
2011. I guess it was 2010, maybe.
Something in there. Yeah, 2010
Something in
was
there,
that
yeah.
everything in between. The second record we did for Sub Pop was 2010.
God.
So we probably
Yeah.
were touring somewhere around then. Yeah. it
Yeah,
could've been
I think
2011.
like 2011, honestly.
Okay.
Because
That could
like,
be right.
because we started like the band in like 2010, and it was because we saw like, honestly, it was because of you guys, you know. So you're like
so
you're the
crazy.
godfather of this all, man. You like the no age is in the DNA of you know, Surf Curse specifically, like heavy.
That's so funny. Well, it was funny because I wrote you on Instagram because my oldest son, who's 12 now, going on 13, he played me a song on Spotify. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I heard this band on Fortnite," and he played me "Disco" by Surf Curse, and I was
That's
like,
how he learned
I
about
know-
it was Fortnite.
Yes, on Fortnite. There was some kind of Fortnite thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I know that band. I think we played a show with those guys. I know who this is. He's
That's
like, yeah,
so
they're really cool.
sweet.
So what that meant was, you know, if you get on like a 10, 11-year-old's radar, I'm sure you probably know this, your royalties reflect this, is that, you know, we listened to it at least like 4 times a day for like 6 months, you know, maybe a year, and then it kind of dropped off. But you were in the heavy elementary school car rotation. Like it was a daily occurrence. I know this song.
That's why we do it.
forwards.
That's why we do it. We got to reach everybody, and that even means the 12-year-olds who love
That's it,
Fortnite.
right? Yeah. No, and it's funny. And then I asked him, I was like, I'm going to interview Jacob from Surf Curse. Do you want to come in? And he was kind of nervous. And no. I was like, you can come sit in and
Give my,
like,
give my
I was
love.
I will. But then I asked him, I was like, well, do you want to like ask a question or anything? Like you want me to, you know, I can ask a question on your behalf. And the question he came up with was what was your influence for writing Disco? That was the question. That was on his
Wow.
mind.
Okay. Wait, that's so.
Yeah.
First off, very sweet that he asked that. The influence. You know what's funny is like, it started off with just like me bringing that riff to Radigan, like Nick Radigan from Surf Curse, and it was just like I immediately, like when I wrote the song, because I you know, just wrote it on guitar, and then I was like, okay, this might be like a good one, and then I showed it to him, and I kind of like sang something, and Nick was like, I had this, and the very first time he just started like muttering some stuff, and we just did like a run through of it, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be like a special one. But
you could
but
feel
whenever
it
we
in the
wrote
moment as it was coming together.
it was
Like,
in
you
the
had
moment.
the riff, he had the vocal line, and then it was just like, wait, this is different.
It was just like, oh, this is gonna be like a good one, like a really good one, and like that whole, you know, honestly, the inspiration for that song is just to get people to dance. You know, like that's like we were at that point where like because I feel like I get it a lot from like the way that you and Dean make music, you know, where it's just like you want to be able to like control a room and like have people have fun. You know, you write, the intention of like writing music is to like get people like moving in some sort of sense, you know, like, and that's like what I wanted with this song. I was like, we were already playing like a lot of live shows, and I was like, what's one that's going to be like, how do I get people like really going? And that intention was, you know, was Disco. And then Nick wrote the lyrics because of the movie Last Days of Disco.
Oh, how funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever your kid gets older,
Whit Stillman. I can show him that.
Yeah, show him that.
That's incredible. It's so cool. I mean, it's such a catchy song. I mean, was that the song that kind of blew up for you guys? Or I mean, obviously there were so many other things happening for you as a band, but I mean, take me through, sort of where does that land in that process?
You know, it's weird. It was, well, cause God, Disco starts with like the whole blow up of Freaks because during COVID, I just feel like it was because everybody was inside all the time. People were just catching up with like music and television and films, and like because they were stuck inside, and like we're just getting these emails from like these different like label people, and then text messages from our friends like, your song's been popping up on my feed, Freaks, and we're like, interesting. And then like all these big
And when
labels.
did that record come out? What
2017, which is crazy. And we did that with Jarvis from Woods.
Okay. So that was 2017. So this is a 3-year-old record.
Exactly.
Just now people are home and time's standing still, and somehow this is the algorithm picked it up, or so there's something.
Oh, sorry. Well, disco, my bad.
No, disco.
2011 is when we recorded Freaks. Sorry. Disco is whenever we recorded 2017. So this is like a 10-year-old song at this point that's like blowing up. So, and it's a song that we recorded at the Smell, in like 2011, 2012 or something.
Wait, you recorded Disco, that song, at the Smell in the big room?
No, we recorded Freaks at
Freaks. Oh, okay.
At the Smell.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
We had a
in 2017.
In 2011. That's when we recorded Disco. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. Freaks, but so that like took off, and people were like hitting us up, and then like major labels were like hitting us up, and they like, because like that was the thing at the time, and it's kind of like what the industry does is like whatever that one song that it's like blowing up on, whatever. They want that. Mm-hmm. Same thing happened with Pavement too. Like at the same time, Harness Your Hopes was like blowing up, So it's like this weird,
which is like a 30-year-old song.
Exactly.
At the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. And then so it's like all these people were catching up, but they were just holding on to something that like, I don't know, like I think about that song, like Harness Your Hopes, and I'm just like, that's like not only like a genuinely like good song, but it's just original and has like a punch to it, and it's angsty and it's fun, and I think that's like what the attraction was with Freaks too. But like that started blowing up, and then we did some touring, and people were very familiar with Disco, but it wasn't like that wasn't blowing up. And then things were dying down for Surf. We like kind of were taking a break, and then just like out of nowhere, Disco was blowing up again, and it's because these people were like doing a dance to it. So again,
it became like a TikTok thing.
It became a TikTok thing, yeah. And it was like this, and it's great because it was like no, like the label, we were signed with Atlantic, and they were supposed to like do something with it because they were like, we just feel like we want Freaks, but we know Disco is going to be big. And we're like, all right. So we're like, we handed it off to them.
So did Atlantic like bought out the back catalog, like everything else that you'd already put out?
Just those two songs. So just those two songs. And then they were like, we'll do an album with you too. And we're like, okay. So like, we're going to go big with that one. But after everything with Freaks, it was kind of like we got burned out pretty fast because of major label stuff.
I would imagine. Well, and plus you'd been a band for 10 years and touring and grinding and to not this style of thing, and then the nature of bands and friendships and relationships and all those things take their course, and
totally,
especially when it's hard, and then for this to kind of come at a dark hour, I would imagine, or a time of like low, like we put everything in, there's no gas in the tank. Guess what, guys? I'm Mr. Atlantic Records. Here's a bag of money. You're like, I think. Okay. And so you did another record.
We did another
of all of that as well.
We did another record, and then after we did that record, it was like, we got burned out, and then we were like, all right, we just need to take like a long break after this because we were just like, we hated all that stuff. But then without us even doing anything, Disco started blowing up on TikTok because people were doing a dance. It was just, and it was like nice because it was like the label could not do anything with it on their own, which is like the power of like why you just put out music and just let it sit there for it to be discovered in some sort of sense. It's like why people love, that's why, like you look at like old footage of like the Pixies, and those rooms are full, but they're not like how they are now, or like whenever Kim was in the band, and like, and you just see like, they're playing these gigantic festivals now, and like they're huge, but it just takes time for people to catch up with music. It takes time for people to like, like, and it just sits there, which is like the beauty of it. And I was like, the beauty of Disco was like, even though Freaks blew up, it was like Disco wasn't tampered with. It was like the most beautiful thing was like it was just two people who just did this back and forth dance, and it was like good intentions. It was not like it wasn't something weird. It wasn't something that was like that felt like odd. It was like the whole purpose of that song was to get people to dance. And so it was like couples, family members, like then it was like wrestlers I like grew up watching.
You're
like,
kidding.
It was like Jeff Hardy from the Hardy Boys dancing with his daughter and doing the dance. And then it was like Kevin Bacon and his wife. Oh God, what's her name? But it was just like weird.
Kira Sedgwick.
Kira Sedgwick. They did the dance too, and I was hilarious. Like, "This is wild." And then it was like, and I was like, "This is like a beautiful thing," you know. So I'm glad that it reached people in that sense, because the whole purpose of that song was to get people to dance. And now it's in Fortnite for kids to do that dance to.
Do the characters do like an emoji dance to it?
That's what happened. Was like they put the emoji like the emote. I don't play video games anymore, but it's an emote that like if you could do it with another person in the game, and it was like surreal because it's like you could be like stormtroopers and Darth Vader. So like then it's like Darth Vader and. Stormtroopers are like
that just has to blow your mind. You're like, here's all this licensed mega corporate, money put into this. It's like Disney. This is so much like there's so many levers that have to get pulled to get the most surreal thing in the world to happen. You're like,
also,
okay,
like one battle after another, like those characters are like, so like now it's like the PTA characters are like doing dances to like.
Oh, I didn't
songs.
know that.
They did like
there could be what is it, Sensei? Who was Benicio del Toro's character? Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting his name. Yeah.
Leo DiCaprio.
Wow. Or Leonardo DiCaprio, but the Benicio del Toro one, his name, he had a funny name.
Oh, yeah.
What
no, exactly. Yeah,
Sensei,
yeah.
A few small beers.
A few small beers. Yeah. Exactly. So it was just like, it's just so, it's so wild. It's just like, it was just such a crazy experience.
That's crazy. But then how does that feel? I mean, because it sounds like at the same time too, like everything you're going through, like it's your music, obviously, but it's not, right? It's disconnected. I mean, this is, almost a decade in the past, and here it's coming back. And I mean, did it feel like it was out of your control? Did it feel, obviously, like it's probably a mixed bag in some ways where you're like, I'm glad people are liking this. And this probably does something for notoriety and for ticket sales, if that's what you were wanting to do. But there's a downside of it too. Like, what the fuck? I have no control. I don't know what this is.
I mean, the downside was like, our manager like sat us down and she was like, the label wants to, and this is a thing, and this is what I found out, in which I was like, this stinks, is like the label wants to pay a bunch of influencers to dance to the songs.
Oh no.
And I was like, what if we don't do that? Like, what if like, because here's the thing:
they just did it on their own? What if you don't have to?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, and it's not like, and it just felt unnatural. And I was like, it kind of stinks because it's like, then it's like, then you're paying for it to like sink in these numbers. And I'm like, I think people are gonna, in a philosophical sense, it's like, I think it's like you're gonna start stinking up the place if you do that. I think people, because I think
oversaturation, it feels unnatural.
Yeah. And I was like, well, can we just like for once just just let it see how far it goes naturally, without any tampering, without any money spending, without like, just interference. Don't cheese it up. Don't stink it up. And then she was like, here's the thing is like, I can't say, it doesn't matter. They're going to do it anyways.
We actually don't have any. It was kind of a formality we were asking anyway. They've already done it.
And then,
exactly.
It's
out of your control. Yeah.
And it was out of our control. And I was like,
commodity, and best of luck. Here you go. Welcome to the big leagues.
So I'm like, I'm like, all right, it is what it is, But it's like, no matter what, it's like the whole. If it was like, if it was for weird, if it wasn't just a dance between two people that like, they have a moment and it's captured, like that is just such a genuine sort of, thing that people put out there, and it's a dance, you know, and that's the whole point of that song is like it was meant for people to dance to. And I'm like, so whatever happens with the song, it's set out into the world, you know, it's like it's something that like I'm proud of. It's never going to be like, it's weird. I don't know if you've had this experience where like you're tired of playing a song or something. I've never had that though. I've never been like exhausted from playing, you know, these songs that I've written with like, you know, my friends. Cause it's like, the whole purpose of like,
I'm watching the dance now. It's so cute. It's
incredible. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be, this is a legacy, right? It's a thing.
That's the thing. It's like, it's reached people and it's like fathers, it's like grandparents, it's like mothers and daughters.
So sweet.
It's sweet.
Yeah. But the question was about getting tired of playing it. I mean, what was the reaction? I mean, did you guys, did you go on tour immediately or as it went, or you made a record and then that was the support of it? And then would you have to put it at like the last song in the chorus or in the encore kind of thing? Or would everybody like, just play it right now? Like, what does one do with it? I've never had a hit song.
No.
You know, we've tried. We've had popular songs.
I think all your guys' songs are hits.
But for that, I mean, what was that pressure like, or what's that conversation like, or what's the relationship with the audience?
Wait,
obviously
come
changes.
On, everybody's down. You don't think that gets everybody going crazy?
We have had that a lot. We've had people yell that at us.
There wouldn't be freaks if it wasn't for everybody's down.
That's so funny.
Because I heard that song and I was like, oh, like that riff. If you just keep playing that drive, if you have some like that's what that. I was like, I need to do something that is like in that same vein, you know, where it's like,
that's so funny.
Because Freaks has a repetition to it that plays like, it's like that the whole time. And everybody's down is just like, and it's like, you know, you set out to, you know, like have those sort of like,
I mean, it's just D flat, right? I'm out of tune,
what?
But yeah. Though the riff is just D flat with a hammer on the A.
Yeah, but it's like it gets people like with, you know, like I saw that, or like even like watching footage of you guys like doing that, I was like, oh my god, like that's how you do it, you know, that's what gets people stoked. Because I remember seeing you guys play it, and just like everyone had the anticipation, you know, that's like when that song comes out. So that's funny. That's where I got it from. It's from you guys, you know, just like
I learned it from watching you. That song was funny because you know, we were a 2-piece. And the whole idea was, what else could we do? You know what I mean? We had drums and guitar going at the same time, but then it was the idea like, well, Dean like wants to get up and like sing. I was like, you should get up, you know, you should just like sing or do something, or we should change it up, and I'll just play like a riff. And it felt like the biggest cop out because it wasn't really like a song. It's just, I'm just going to keep doing this thing. But he came up with this kind of like cool sing song. He came up with this vocal sort of melody, and it just extended this thing, this kind of tension sort of thing.
That's what I mean. The tension is like okay. The tension rules in that song. Like it's so I listened to it earlier, honestly, and I was like, this is like what gets you, this is what got me going whenever I was like, you know, just being a fan of music. It's like that tension was so impactful. Like it had that Pixies thing of like the loud, quiet, loud, but like when it punches, you know, when it hits, it's like everyone goes nuts, you know. And it's funny because I totally forgot about like the, you know, Dean getting off the drums and he's like singing and he's getting in the crowd sometimes or whatever. But that's what Nick does now. Whenever we do disco, he goes into the crowd, and our guitarist. But
there's drums in the song. You guys
our guitarist, he goes on drums, and he plays, and then Nick goes out to the crowd.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a Dean nod right there.
Well, it's hard being a singing drummer. I mean, you know, ask Phil Collins, ask, you know, or you know, ask Levon Helm. But do you have to play? Do you play it as an encore? Is that the
that? So yeah, that's what it. Yeah, so
the encore. Yeah,
but that's the thing is like it's just like I don't know. Like I've never. Yeah, I think about like the Breeders a lot. That last Breeders record is incredible. And that kind of gave me the confidence of like, it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how long you've been gone for, as long as like you're just like having a good time making things with people that you like and you believe in the songs and like you trust in the songs and the songwriting, like you have to trust the audience into sitting through the ones that aren't hits, because in our hearts, in our heads, those are still, every song's like a hit, because it's the intention of like, well, we wrote these songs for you guys to move to, hopefully, and we would write songs specifically because we were in such like a live mindset. We're like, we need to write a song for people to like take a breath for,
right.
And there's another thing too, is like you're those ambient songs like on the No Age records, I'm like those are the breathers.
It was, well, for us, I mean, we'd always write these like long intros or like outros, or we'd write these random parts and then sort of like pace the record out. Hopefully if it was something they're like, okay, then there's a moment, and then it didn't always come across live, because I think at some point it's the seduction of like the energy and the adrenaline is just like, I found, I think we sped up a lot as a band, but it's not uncommon, to do, like if you're playing, you spend 90% of your time playing the songs live, like you record for, a few weeks, and then you tour for months and years. You know what I mean? The songs are gonna that live setting is gonna infect those songs.
I never like got tired. I've never gotten tired of songs. Like, honestly.
Oh yeah, that's what you're asking. Yeah. No, I love playing the same songs.
It's never stopped. I'm like, I love playing these.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's such a kick to think that. Oh yeah, I feel like anybody cares. You're like, oh man, you care about this? All right, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it starts off with like, you write it with your friend, and you're like, you're stoked. You're stoked on it. You're like, oh, this is I hope this translates, and then it does, and it's like you get people moving in a room, and you're like, all right, let's take it to this town now. Let's take. This
was there
next
pressure
show.
to? Was there pressure to rewrite those songs like Freaks and Disco? Like, was there a feeling like, especially dealing with like a major label kind of vibe, was this sense like, well, we don't hear any singles, you got to go back to the drawing board, we need singles?
No, they didn't. Here's the thing is like, they don't give it I don't know if I can curse, but they don't give a shit. Yeah, exactly. Because they already have, because the thing is like
they have the hits. Oh, right.
This is what the industry is now. And I think everyone's kind of catching up with it, because it's like, we kind of knew. The reason why we signed the deal in the first place was, it was like, well, if we do this, we can like experience it and warn people. Cause I'm like, we know, cause we had like every avenue of like, here's being on like a very small label. Here's being on like a mid-tier one. And now here's a chance to do like a major. And we were just like around all of our friends who were like doing music. And I'm like, if we do this, right, and we know what, like how this is, we can either be like, we can have some sort of experience to warn our friends about at a certain point, know? Like, I'm sure
it feels like a progression. You know what I mean? It feels like the feeling of like, okay, well, what's the next gate look like? You keep going through gates.
Let's try it out. And we'll be, and I felt like a sacrificial lamb for the sake of like, just being like, well, because I'm like, I don't like, I know why I do music, and the whole thing with it too was like, the potential of like recording at a special place, which is what we did. We got to record at Electric Lady in New York, and it was like incredible. We got to record with Chris Cody, who's awesome, and he's like a lovely, lovely guy, and like just having that experience. But the thing that's so funny is like, the reason why we recorded at Electric Lady was because they wanted us to like re-record Freaks. And of course, the reason why they did that was so they would have, I don't know if you know about exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, now you know what you should do? You should do it on piano now. And so it was just they were kind of collecting every version of it.
Iteration of it. Got it.
An iteration.
That's what.
And
so that was the secret. And by the way, while you're there, record 12 other songs, whatever. But you could just do 16.
Now do it on guitar.
Now do it on. Can we do a 2-minute? Yeah. We're gonna do a remix. We're gonna do a thing. I saw there was.
Now we're getting Diplo in here. He's gonna do what?
Yeah. I saw there was a Travis Barker guest spot.
Oh yeah, never met him.
Did he play drums on it, or what did he do?
Oh my God, Randy, he just like, what happened was like the stems got sent to him. We, of course, like, and this is another thing too, is like, the whole thing with like, of course, like when you find out like what a record deal is, it's like, it's basically a bank, they're just going to like, yeah, we're going to give you this amount of money. And at some point you're going to have to give it back to us.
It's a loan. Yeah.
And it's a loan. And like Travis Barker was like a big loan. And we didn't understand that at the time. We paid some guy to like mix it for him to like, we paid him, the mixer, like a lot of money because it was Travis's guy. And then he just took the stems and just played over it.
Got it.
Honestly, it sounds great. Not gonna lie, it's Travis Barker. But like after that, like that, I remember like the day the song came out, like the Travis Barker version, I was like, I can't wait to like see what he says about it. Like I can't wait to see like
oh right, well, if he'll do press, he'll do something.
Something that's like acknowledging like us, or like maybe something he's like, I'm so happy to be on this song or whatever. And like that day he promoted like an energy drink that he just put out.
Oh.
And I was like, what the hell, man? And then like another thing too that really bugs me is that his son is going out and playing and covering his dad's version of Freaks out on the road. So it's like this like Nepo thing that's happening now. And I'm like,
well, maybe
Travis,
that's how it got to him in the first place. Maybe that's the reason he wanted to do it, because his son, his kid told him, oh, no. What?
Atlantic reached out to him. Reached out. They just list. We kind of gave him like a list of like people we would want to work with. And we got nobody from that list except Travis. He was the only one that responded. And they were like, and it got to him. And then that's how it happened. And then he he did all, and then like doing my research, because of course, like everything is like a learning experience. And then I have to like delve into like what it means to feel this way. And I'm like, oh, he has been doing a lot of remixes around this area, around that time period.
Sure.
He had nothing better to do. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. He just kind of like takes it, puts his little, fingers on it. And much respect to him, he's a great musician, but it's like his legacy to me is just kind of like, ugh. He did a good job though. He did do a good job.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. I mean, I'm sure again, there was probably another like round of attention for it. You know what I mean? Again, that version gets, all kinds of, you get,
and that's the thing, is like, it's just like, how hard do we like push? Yeah. It's like, and it was weird too, because we like played for a bunch of radio people, and it was just like having to do these acoustic versions over and over and over again of Freaks. And like, the craziest one was that we actually like did one for like one of the me and Nick's like Las Vegas like radio, who we grew up with, Mix 94.1, like those hosts, we like did one for them.
Oh wow.
And that was kind of like, all right, now this is like paying off a little bit.
That's the one you actually listened to, the one you knew growing up. It would be like, playing K-Rock or something.
And now we're doing it. Yeah, exactly. It's like if we were playing for K-Rock or something. Yeah. Which we might have. I don't know. But just, I never really listened to the radio in Los Angeles when I was living there.
Sure. Yeah. So tell me, you grow up in Las Vegas. Where does music sort of enter your life? What's it like growing up in Las Vegas, and what's that whole experience like?
I mean, it sucked. I mean, it was like, it was awful. I had this joke about Vegas where like I saw Less Than Jake too many times, because the only bands that would play in Vegas that we were able to see was like ska bands. So Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake, they just played all the time.
Where would they play? Where were the venues like there?
House of Blues, like, like VFW halls, like that kind of stuff. Like just like,
and the casinos, right, would have bands, but I mean, maybe nothing decent.
And that's it. And another thing too is like, we would have to wait like months to be able to like see an all ages show.
Oh,
and
right.
And that was like the thing is like, you know, and another, this is why this is also full circle, is like, you open up for the Yeah Yeah Yeahs at the Mandalay Bay.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I saw, and I wrote an article, like for my newspaper about that show, and I was just like, No Age, like best band ever, blah 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 blah, and I like got third place. I got like a third place journalism award for like, you know, best music article or something like that. And but it was like
crazy.
But that's like how much I like held you guys in my heart, you know. And it was
you
like,
came to that show? You came to the
Of course,
I
was front row. I was
okay.
banging my hands on. I was banging my hands on the bar watching you guys. I was so stoked.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you remember this, but I did interview you guys outside of a bar. But that was like the situation. It was like the first time I ever met you.
It was in the downtown zone, right?
Yes.
Like we did something at the beauty bar or
I
something.
felt like
the next time, yeah.
Yeah, and it was and I interviewed you guys outside of the bar, but because I couldn't get in. I couldn't like.
Oh, right. Well, it was some sponsored Fender thing, if I remember correctly.
It was at
like
the beauty bar.
Something, yeah.
But it was
some
like
convention was going on or something. Yeah, it was like for.
That's so funny if that was the case.
Something. It was a Fender thing. Yeah, no, I remember it was definitely a Fender sponsored thing, and I was like, but I don't play Fenders. They're like, no, I still want you to play. And you're like, all right. I remember talking to the people there, and they're like, why don't you play a Fender? I'm like, I don't know, because you don't make cool acoustic or semi-hollow body things. You make, you know, what's the one, the Starliner. I was like, but you guys haven't, you know, it's been out of print, or you guys haven't made one in years, and they're all vintage and kind of dumb and expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, they re-released those. But yeah, it was
That's
so funny.
Cool,
okay, I remember.
Did you get a guitar out of that?
No, nothing. I didn't want any of their shit. I was like, I don't want to Strat. I don't
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I was playing these like Epiphone, like thin line, you know, hollow.
I know
body,
those are your guys.
things.
That's all. I mean,
that sounds great.
I bought a hollow body guitar because of you.
Oh, did it work for you? Did it sound good? Was it decent?
Okay. No? Well, Radigan, he
broke it.
He broke it. Yeah. Long story short, he broke it like immediately, and I was like, I was so sad, and it's crazy because I held on to that guitar forever trying to get it fixed, and I eventually tossed it.
I mean that's the one I played all the time. It's it's Epiphone Sheridan 2, made in Korea in the 90s.
So cool.
It was just
I always have a bunch of backups. That.
They're not expensive. You know, I'm holding it up. It's just a brown kind of sunbursty thing. But what's funny, I played, like I've probably played, I don't know, close to 1,000 shows with it. It is built like a tank, like no scratches.
Yeah.
You see these like Fender things and they like disintegrate over time, and they got like scratch marks, and everybody's like, that guy really played that guitar. I was like, I've played the shit out of this thing. I mean, it's really made of like laminated like concrete. It doesn't. Nothing ever bad ever happens to it. I've done so much dumb shit to this guitar, and it just keeps on going. And so, really,
do you know what year it's from?
Somewhere in the 90s, because they only made these from like, I want to say like
built to last
3 to 95 or something. Yeah. So I guess it's vintage now. But again, there's no belt buckle rash. I mean, it looks like the day it came out of the factory. Great. I'm sure it's insane. Like how much blood, sweat I've dripped. I'm just like, I've taken this thing all over the world and banged the shit out of it. And it's really funny because I kind of wanted one of those cool, like relic looking guitars, but I realized it's like, gonna fall. It's one of those things where it's like it's all about it's I don't know. There's something about like the finish or something. Like all those old Fenders were just like barely painted on there or something, and they would just crack.
I mean, I think there's such a punk thing about like not playing Fender. Honestly, where it's like I don't want to play what everyone else plays. I want my own thing. That's I kind of like took that.
It was the sound. It was the sound of it. Like if they had something that sounded good, I'd be down. But it was I grew up loving like SGs and like big humbuckers kind of sounds. Yeah. And then as a 2-piece, I really needed to figure out the like chimey highs. Kind of like a ringing high, and then like a distorted middle, and then some kind of boomier low end thing.
You made it sound so whole.
Things.
Like you made it sound so whole. It was amazing.
It was intentional. I mean, I was trying as hard as I could.
You were filling
fill
up
out
everything
what that was doing.
Of it.
Yeah. because there was just the two of us, and I didn't want this, like, we weren't trying to be the Black Keys or trying to be something that was like stripped down, just, you know, boot stomping blues rock for so many bands. You know, it was this whole other kind of thing where we wanted to sound like five people.
How many times have you tried to
and things and
how many times have you tried to explain like, oh, I'm in a two-piece, and then someone's like, what, like the Black Keys whenever you're describing your band?
Well, it's the other color band. It's the White Stripes. And
White Stripes. Like, me and Nick, whenever we were a two-piece, it was always Black Keys. They're like, oh, so you like the Black Keys, and we're like, no. We're like, no age.
Like who?
And then they'd be like, who's that? And I'm like, let me tell you something.
That's so funny. Yeah, no, everybody would say White Stripes, or like, you must love White Stripes. And it's just like, no, I'm not. I've thrown too many strays at Jack White.
That's like the funny thing.
But it's just like, the thing. It was like they're big blues. They sound like Led Zeppelin. And it's like, that's not what we're trying to do.
You know, it's funny, like we held on to the two-piece for like so long, and it was honestly, I think we got a third person because I think you guys started playing with like a third person too.
Yeah. No,
and it was
we brought a friend
because we were like
on stage with us.
I think like whenever you're like watching a band and kind of like, you know, you're perceiving them and you're kind of like, you're making up all these thoughts about them. It was like, you know, like, and we're young, you know, so we're like, you know, Randy and Dean, they don't have a bass player. They don't need a bass player. And like in Reno and like when we're playing shows, there would always be people being like, you need a bass player. And we're like, no, we don't.
Oh, is that the worst? We the most random dude comes up like,
Randy,
hey, I'll play bass for your band. Oh no, I hope we didn't hold you back.
No, I mean, come on. That's like the thing is like you guys made it sound full, and it's like that's the proof, you know, like you don't need like bluesy riffs to be able to cover up everything. Like you guys came up with ways to like make it work between the two of you, you know. And it's like I've never really had that kind of like relation after doing it, you know, where it's like there's just such a beauty between two people because you're really trying to like figure out like how you sonically make this work, you know? And it was like you guys just had such a like an energy and an attitude towards it that was like I don't know if you like this term, but I always like thought of you guys as like peaceful punks, you know? Like because there was a thing that was like, and I heard when I was listening to that interview, you said something like, you know, you like Dean would listen to Minor Threat. And you're like, I don't know who Minor Threat is. And then you would show him My Bloody Valentine. And he's like, I don't know who My Bloody Valentine is.
Yeah.
But like that, you guys had like a thing that was like, I don't have to be aggressive in the room, like as like a punk, but there's this like sensitivity or this kind of like artfulness to what you guys were doing. And it was like, we were just trying to find ways to, I thought you guys were like the Velvet Underground, you know, like the way that
I mean, Mo Tucker, you know, she played drum standing up on like, you know, two drums, you know, there was there's a simplicity to it,
but it's just like you guys just like filling out the sounds or like just going extra hard when you would play, like you guys would move, you guys would like, you know, Dean like had like a bass to his voice sometimes, you know, or like he would, you know, do weird sort of vocal stuff that was like, oh, I like this. And then you would have like, you know, those pedals that just like kept everything just like dreamy or just, you know, just like it was uplifting. I loved it. It really like
with the song Disco, though, I mean, there's definitely there's the melodic bass line in that, right? Is that just you playing that?
I think Jarvis got in on that. Honestly,
really? Okay,
I think so.
Oh, how funny! But then, would you give that to the bass player now, like live on stage?
Yeah, now because we're like a 4-piece now, so like, or we were we were playing as a 4-piece, and it was like so like we would write that stuff out and make everything sound like more fleshed out and everything. And
that's kind of how you were doing on the record. Like you'd have multiple parts you'd write for the record. And then
sometimes we would, And like, it was funny. We were doing a loop pedal whenever we were first starting where we were trying to do the Freaks riff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, me and Nick were like fuck the riff. Let's just play the chords. And like, it was still fine. But now it's like, when we were playing those songs, like with, an extra guitar player, like playing leads, people would go crazy over it. And it's like, okay, good thing that the riff is back. Because it's
works.
like, it works.
Yeah, it's so funny. I know the Ramones would do that. They would have like, Stasium or Ed Stasium, the like producer guy. He would like be behind the stacks playing the leads.
Yeah,
so
filling it out.
Yeah, lots of good company. And it's hard to. I think especially as your band, you hear things that are beyond what your band, your four hands can do if you're a two piece, and so there's all kinds of compromises or sort of deals you have to make. But
those limitations, like they help with like figuring it out. That's like the journey of it. I like when I listen to your guys' stuff, like there's so many times where I'm like, that's a journey right there. Like that is like where I'm like, I can appreciate it, because
it's the result of an experiment. Like, here's what we came up with.
Totally.
Here's what we're trying to do. Here we're bringing back our findings. Here's the conclusion of this experiment. Yeah.
It's just like how do we where do we go with this, or like how do we make this us, and it's like I always think like No Age is a great document of two people. Like I really do think that like what you and Dean have done is like.
Thanks.
It really brought the best out of people, and especially out of me. Like watching you guys. I mean, like going back to what like growing up in Vegas. It's like all I had was the internet. All I had was like Pitchfork, and like whenever that Live at the Smell 1 week only thing happened, it was like that was like what I was missing in my life. Was like it was like. The Smell was like an all ages venue that felt unattainable, like for me. That was like, oh my, and like watching these like every age, all these, all ages, crowds, and like seeing, you guys, seeing Health, seeing like the Meishi, like, and just being exposed to all of it. And then like seeing like, oh, I can go to a show like that, with like these people who are like artists. Cause I didn't even think of like No Age as like you guys were like art rock to me. You guys were like, felt like it was like, like what you did with guitar was like painting to me, it just felt like you guys were really reaching out to like, this is how like bands should be, with the screen printing of the shirts and like the logo ideas and like the shoe stuff, like with, with America and like, and then like that skate culture thing. It was like, you guys just like really, showed people how to do it, like show people how like fun it is to do something like this or like, how hard it is to do something like this. And with two people, like, beautiful.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot from, we had a band before Wives. It was a 3-piece.
Right.
And I think we sort of, we made all the rookie mistakes or all the mistakes you just make and, and just hit our head on every step of the way. And so it was fun to kind of regroup and be like, okay, what did we learn? How can we be smarter? Let's do this, as a 2-piece. And I think Dean and I at that point were pretty fired up, and it was a lot, and it was fun. It was fun to kind of just be like, how far can we take this thing? Let's just keep running until someone stops us.
And it was like serious.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Crazy. It's like to me, I was like, this is how you take things seriously, but have fun doing it.
Yeah. I guess, it's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was life and death to us at the every step of the way, but we just laughed the whole time too. It was this weird sort of moment of like, just kind of like naive, egomaniacalness, but it was also so much fun because we got to do it with all of our friends in a way that was just like, this is crazy. And it felt like the bigger it got, the crazier it got, and the more fun we tried to have with it, and at some point you're just like, what is it all? I think you start to lose, you're like, who's driving this thing? Wait a second. I thought I was driving, and now it's sort of we're just a wild cart ride. And, but Yeah, that's incredible. It's fun. It's fun to talk through those things because again, a lot of it, I think, especially at this at this age, Dean, we're in our 40s and with kids and stuff, and it's I think we're far enough away from it where it's like, did anything really matter? Did it really hit anything? Not that we're looking for like a pat on the back or some kind of like false modesty, but I think there is a moment where you get far enough away from it, and it's just like, that was fun. Shit, I don't know if it ever, what happens.
No, I mean, as someone who like you and Dean have like, you guys wrote the book for me, and it was because of like who you were as people and like who you were as artists and who you were as musicians. It's like that just like it lives forever, what you guys have done lives forever within people, like and especially me. It's like the way that you guys like talk to me, like as a teenager who I know I was like probably punishing because like it was like you guys did a sound check and you guys talked to me for like I think like an hour or 40 minutes or something.
Well, you came with your girlfriend too, right?
Yes.
Like I remember all of it. I remember, she was like, I was like, are we bumming her out? Like she looks like she wants to leave. You're like, no, hold on. We're
no, that's what I mean. It was like I was just so punishing, but it's like because you guys like took that chance to like talk to me. I always looked at that as like, oh, that's like paying it forward in a sense. It's like like who knows what's going to happen if you like
but that's how it's so funny because that's how I felt too. At the same time, like I met Mike Watt in the parking lot of The Smell in North Hollywood,
there you go.
I was in high school. And he took the time to hold court with like a weird Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops, and I'd seen him at Lollapalooza like the year before or something, or 2 years before, and he's Mike Watt, what I mean? He's a legend, and for him to take the time to just rap and bullshit with teenagers in a parking lot in North Hollywood, it was huge. It gave me that boost of confidence. Like I can do this. If he can, if he's doing this, and he's doing this here at this weird place called The Smell. Like I remember turning to my friend that I'd gone there with to see Mike Watt play solo, and I read about it in the newspaper. I didn't know anybody cool. I didn't get a cool flyer. I saw it was in the LA Times in the calendar section. Mike Watt plays The Smell on Lankershim Boulevard. And I was probably 16 or 17, and I was like, all right, let's go. And I took my buddy who got a car and we went, and I remember like turning to him and I'm like, we could do this. Our dumb high school band could play a place like this. We could do this. And I remember him being like, no, he was intimidated, where I just was so enthralled. I was like, this is like, I think an entry ticket to start to do this thing. Like we should go play shows and get out of our bedrooms. And it was someone like Mike Watt, taking so again, that pay it forward moment, like I take it directly from Watt and pass it on.
And I always exactly what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? Like I always try to make time for those moments of, for just talking to people, because who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? And again, like, for 100 people you talk to, maybe there's one surf curse in there, you know what I mean? And it's the kind of thing where you're just like, oh shit. But again, that's not me. That's you. You know what I mean? Just like in the same way that like Watt didn't write any riffs that I was, doing. But in my head, it was like, that was the point in the direction, the pat on the back and the push, like go do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We saw you guys play at the Smelly anniversary. And it was like that night we were like, we're starting a band together, like me and Radigan. And we were like,
that's awesome. We're
starting a band. And one day, and that's the thing is like I've never wanted to be a rock star or something. I never wanted money. I never wanted like anything except to open up for No Age. You know what I mean? It's like, and like, it was just a small short-term. It's like maybe maybe one day we'll play at The Smell. And then maybe we'll open up for No Age someday. And it was just too like short, like just, they felt like long-term goals, And it happened within like a year of us like starting. It was like, we got to play at The Smell.
I'm glad that wasn't difficult.
No, it was, well, because you guys brought that out, You guys, the thing is like you guys.
That was our hope, though, too. We wanted to push that kind of idea forward of like, this is what you like. We're here because we're making it up as we go along. Anybody can do this, and that sort of again, it's direct lineage from Watt and from D Boon. You know, punk is what you make it.
Exactly.
You start your own band. I'm a corn dog.
Start your own band.
You know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. It was like our band could be your life. All of those feelings of those things. You know what I mean? Like it was directly like I think all those things spoke directly to Dean and I, and we were like, fuck it, we should do it. We can do this, and you know, for no other reason than we were fans of those SST bands, you know, and it was just like, okay, cool. So for that energy to get, I think that's the kind of that's the hope always, you know, that it just, you pass that, you know, that spark down the line. And
that's what I mean. And it's because of you guys, you know, and it's because of, you know, Mike Watt. It's because whoever inspired Mike Watt. But I'm sure there's bands.
Yeah, I'm sure there's bands who have come up to you after and hopefully, you know, and bugged you guys. You know, it's after shows, and you've inspired bands that I don't even know about. You know,
it's crazy. There's this kid who like, it was like whenever we like first started, like we played in Sarasota, Florida to play a college show, and I got stuck because I got too drunk. And like I missed my flight, and I had to stay overnight in like a South Carolina airport. And I was like, well, it's too late for me to sleep. I'm just going to stay up. And I was like, you know, like I'm going to put my phone number out there. People call me, like just talking to fans or whatever. And I'm like, call me and I'll talk to you. I'll give you advice or something because I'm going to stay up all night. And I talked to some kid on the phone, right? Years later, I'm in Italy for somebody's wedding. And he comes up to me and he's like, you talked to me on a phone while you were stranded at an airport, and I started a band. And I was like, oh really? Shit. And he was like, I asked you, because like we have a song called Goth Babe, and he was like, I asked you if I can use that as a band name, and I've been using, like, that's my band is Goth Babe. And then the guy who I was at the wedding for was actually, I you know, kind of knew him. I was more just like a date, but he was his drummer and I had no idea. And I was like, no way. And he's like, because of you, like, you know, I was able to do it. And I was like,
that's hilarious.
That's why we do it, baby. Yeah,
you know, it's so funny, right? It all comes around. No, we played with a band in Belgium called Teen Creeps. That was their band, and they were doing good. They were doing well in their spot. You know what I mean? It was funny, and it was this kind of thing. But I remember it was, you know, it's those little things, and and you can appreciate this now too, where it's like, you know, you're an artist going through your, you know what I mean? You have sometimes having that little bit of success just makes everything 10 times harder, if not 100 times or 1,000 times harder. Yeah. You know, when you're like, okay. And everyone's like, oh, you must be the most happiest, easy life is so good. Look at you're on tour. You're playing these big venues. You're like, shit's really fucking hard for me right now. You know, and when the fan will come up and want to talk to you and give me inspirational advice. You're like, I'm having a panic attack. I can't pay rent. My girlfriend left me. I don't know what's going on. I have an alcohol problem. I'm just trying to have a cigarette before I go play a show because I think my life is about to fall apart. And they're just like, okay, well, maybe now's not a good time. You're like, but no, go play music.
Do it. Do what I'm doing, even though I'm losing it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna lose money on this tour. I think our record label screwed us over. Pretty sure the van rental guys skimming money. But you know, yeah, go.
But that's like fun. The fun of it too. I mean, I don't know. It's like even those like those weird terrible times. It's like you still get through it, you know. And that's like the fun of it. It's like it's figuring all out. Yeah. And like on
the big scale of shit that can go wrong with life. Being you know, an alcoholic kid on the road isn't the worst thing. Hopefully you can see that. You don't see it at the time.
It definitely is.
The time your girlfriend breaks up with you and you're drinking too much and you're partying too much and you're on the road, it feels like the worst thing in the world. But on the big grand scale of tragedies in life, it's hard for anyone to.
Well,
shed a tear for a kid like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like something that like I've been struggling with is like. I miss how hard it used to be, you know, like now I'm just kind of like chilling right now, but it's like,
good.
I remember I was washing dishes in Reno and I had like this, it was a 50-minute walk and, it'd be snowing and my clothes would be wet and I'd walk 50 minutes home. I'd listen to like an album or something, and like I had 45 minutes to record one song on my Korg digital recorder, and I'd go in, I'd have to like take a drum machine app on my phone and plug it into the aux. I had to take a boot, lodge that in in the aux, you know, push it up against the wall so it's able to like be, you know, full stereo or whatever, and record track by track by track before my roommate came home, because our walls were so thin, and he would bust through my door. Like, it was like every time he'd come in, it would be like a moment of vulnerability. It was like almost like if I was naked, because I'm like trying to sing really fast. I'm trying to get the songs done.
Yeah.
He busts and he's like, knock that fucking shit off. Slams the door. And it's like,
thanks, roommate.
But it pushed me. It made it all, and that 45-minute gap of just like rushing, and
everything has to happen.
Everything has to happen in this small gap. And then I was like, I miss that so much. It's like the pressure, like when you're under pressure, or whenever you're like suffering through it all, it's like you gotta like, that's what drives you.
And you're
like
doing it not
create.
because you know there's a show and there's fans waiting to see you. You're doing it because you're going to go crazy if you don't keep following your dream.
It's inside.
It's exploding out of your heart, and you need to get it out versus some, you know, deadline or money or paycheck or a thing or a schedule or release.
It's out
date.
of desperation.
And
that's the thing is like it's like
a necessity.
if you don't. Yeah, it's a necessity. It's like if you don't have desperation, then like why are you doing it? What's the point of, you know, like you gotta have that desperation, you know? And like I just moved into this spot, and this is like my desperation. I walk 20 minutes from my apartment, and I come here, and I'm like, all right, this is
good. Lock the door.
I'm locking the door, and I'm like locking it.
That's it, right? Yeah, you got to do it. No, I feel like there was those stories of like Tom Waits records, you know, and like or maybe, you know, these kinds of things where he would just take apart a dresser or something, you know what I mean? Just like hitting it with a baseball bat for a snare sound, or these kinds of things of like, it's just got to be, if it's not weird, it's not happening, but not weird for the sake of weird. But I think there was this kind of like, it had to be hard. Like he wanted to make everything hard.
You gotta make it hard
about it all, and in those kind of ways. And you're like, I don't even know if I know what a dresser being hit with a baseball bat sounds like. I don't even know if that's a good sound in terms of like qualities of tone or what you'd want. But I think it was more about
Scott Walker slammed some meat around. It sounded great.
I think he needed something for it. You know what I mean? I think he's got to. I think it's just part of that, like making stuff hard.
Well, you guys were doing some stuff on, I might be mistaken on this, but on an Object, you guys were doing stuff with amps or something, right? Where it was like,
I'm trying to
remember what you were trying to do.
Putting change. This was a big one. Yeah, Dean was putting change
an Object,
in the speaker. Right? Yeah, an Object was his like contact mic record.
Hell yeah.
He didn't really want to play drums, and it was that was a desperate record. And so we had a whole other like, it wasn't a full record, but we went out to Austin to record with Tim Kerr from the Big Boys on like 2-inch tape. And we didn't really have a record written. We had a couple songs, maybe, or kernels of songs, but we thought, let's try this thing where we just get a studio for a week and go somewhere else and get out of town and just go do this. And it didn't really work. For some reason, that desperation, we just didn't, it didn't inspire us, or it didn't like spark. It wasn't the spark that lit the fire. If anything, it was just sort of that like, you know, boot that stepped on the cigarette and put it out kind of in a way. It was like, that was a lot of pressure, but we didn't really respond creatively to it. So then we came back home, and then we made this other album, and it was good. I don't know, but it was tough. I think Dean was trying to look for some challenges, and I was just like, can we just fucking write a song? I just want to write a song. But
I love that record. I think it's great.
Oh, thanks.
But even seeing that tidbit about the change, I was like, whoa, this is different, you know? And I took that to heart, you know, just like, it's just I think it's like the act of doing things because, you know, let's see where this goes, or like, let's at least attempt something, you know? I think that's what's cool. like it
There was
really
a bigger
like adds
sense of experimentation
life.
in that. And then, yeah, Dean got really excited about the making of the packaging as well. He had this whole like die cut system where he would cut it out, and he and Brian designed this kind of like matchbook style, like CAD designed like thing where the CD was a miniature version of the LP, and they all folded in.
Oh, I remember the pizza boxes you guys had at a Pizzanista.
yeah, we did a pizza release for it all. Yeah, it was really it was fun.
I was like in town for that. I was like so stoked.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
No, our friend Michael Rader, he got one.
Okay. I know Michael from Moses Campbell. Right?
You know,
Big
it's
Red.
funny. I like saw him for the first time in like those Live at the Smell. And I like saw him at the Smell, and I was like, that's him. That's
the guy
with the huge hair. And like he's just like the most lovely person.
He's the dude.
He's the king.
It was funny. I remember we were out of town for some reason. I think we were on tour like when the record came out. I think we like were playing a show somewhere else, you know, just kind of the way things work schedule wise. But I think my wife went, and Dean's wife went and got some boxes for us, and Jim, and, you know, from the Smell and stuff. Yeah. So people went for it, but we couldn't even, that's the hard part too. Again, that's the thing. That's those moments of like, where you work on all this stuff, you do all these things, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm in Minnesota tonight.
Yeah.
So have fun, you know. It just becomes, you know, about the business of it all, and things get scheduled, and you're just kind of like, I think this was cool. I think this was worth it. I think that it all worked.
I think that's the thing is like
but you never know, because you're on to the next thing. You're somewhere else in a way where you can't really, when you're busy.
Well, you
and
said
when you're in the
that's
middle
like
of
the
that
whole thing is like
hurricane,
you said it out.
You can't appreciate it. Yeah.
I think like, you know, some things that are just so missing nowadays is like that. And that's like what I learned from you guys, you know, me and Nick learned from you guys. It's like, it's just doing extra things, you know, just doing things where it's like, well, I want to kind of do, you know, this promotional thing or whatever. And then you
we
go
made
and
beach
do
balls for that record. I remember that was really fun.
I remember that. Oh my God.
Beach balls. Yeah. And then we played at the pier. We played Santa Monica Pier right around that time. And it was fun because I had one. I remember like I made a video, like I hit one and like fully flew out and like got the pier and hit somebody in the head. Oh, shit.
I mean, like that went.
Fun.
Oh, like that. Like those intentions, though, they like stick with people. And that's the thing is, like, you think of it as like, you know, someone who's like older, and you're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. But like, you know, for like an 18-year-old at the time, as you know, I'm sure younger people, when they see that you guys are doing stuff like that, you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I'm gonna take this greasy pizza box home, or I'm gonna deflate this ball and like put it up on my wall. That's what I would do. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That was the whole vibe of, I always try to make music for me, you know, or make the things that I was stoked on. And, you know, but again, it's difficult, I guess. I mean, it's not difficult, but it's just times change and things change and generations change and influences change. And so I think as you age, there's that thing of kind of like, well, back in my, especially being a father, you know, of young kids, like, back in my day, well, we used to tape songs off the radio, and, you know, just like it has nothing, you know, but I think the spirit comes through though too, where like my son will hear Surf Curse on Fortnite, and that's where he's at. That's his radio. Yeah. That's his entertainment. And you know what I mean? And a cool song comes up there and he recognizes it and he brings it to me, and I'm like, this is awesome. It definitely feels like a full circle. The kid I talked to out front of a bar, you know, in Las Vegas, you know, is influencing my child to be like, Dad, this song's cool. And makes, you know, puts it on, makes me listen to it. You know,
that's
I have that,
sweet.
I have that bass line stuck in my head.
That's like the giving of it, you know, it's the gift that keeps on gifting. That's why, you know, like music is so, that's like, I think it's the greatest art form, is because like you can make the most hellish song, you can make the most like earwormy song, you can make like, you know, the most heartbreaking thing, and it finds people and it like stays with them, you know. And then it's the experiences of that, because it's like you can put on your headphones and like listen to an album, or, you know, buy the record and, you know, put it on, and you're experiencing some sort of heartbreak, or you're, you know, just going through something, or you just like are amped up and you're like pacing around, you know, and you're dancing or whatever. It's like,
It's so funny. I think this reminds me of a thing. I remember we met Sonic Youth a handful of times through different things, shows and whatnot. But I remember the first time I think I met Kim Gordon. I was like, oh, I play No Age, and she's like, oh, I think Coco likes you guys. I think Coco said something about you guys.
Oh,
and I remember
nice.
just being like, but at the time I think she might have been like not a diss, but it was a thing like, oh, my kid likes you. Like I don't like you. I'm cool.
It's awesome.
The coolest person in the world. Yeah, but my kids.
I mean, Coco's like it's Coco. It's like the coolest kid.
Right, exactly, yeah. So it's like, probably it's a double compliment. But at the time, I remember just being so like, I'm just short circuiting out of fandom and out of all the, those things, because they were again another one of those bands that I was obsessed with, as a teenager, and so to get to meet them, let alone say their kid liked my band, I was like, I'll take it. Yes, thank you.
It's crazy. I got this like it's like a Kim Gordon zine that someone made. It was just like all these like photos of Kim Gordon. And I got it in the mail, and I was like, oh, because I like, whenever I make music, I like getting photo books and I'll set it up and I'll just start playing, just like, look at an image. And I love Kim. So I'm like, got this thing in the mail. And like, I go to this restaurant nearby me. This is when I was living in LA. And this kid comes in, or like I'm eating, and then this kid, like the waiter's like, oh, this kid paid for your food. And he came up to me and was like, I love your band. I like, I wanted to pay for your meal. And I'm like, you did not have to do that. That's crazy. And he left. And then Kim Gordon came in.
And did you pay for her meal? You're like, I want to pay for her meal.
And that's the thing. And I was so stressed out. I'm like, I have to buy her meal now. Right. And I was like, and I was freaking out. But then I was like, what do I have to talk to her about? Kim, I got a book of photos of you that
I'm not a stalker.
I look at when I make music.
Let me just practice those words in my head before they come out of my mouth.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I was like, I can't let go of the fact that I like have a bunch of images of her in my apartment, like down the street. No. And I left because I was like, I can't do this, I can't.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was so cool to like sit next to her though, because she was like next, like right next to me, and I was just like, that's wow, cool. There she is. That's Kim.
Yep. I have a lot of those moments where I was like, I don't need to say anything. It's better that I don't. They don't want me to say anything. I don't need to say anything, where it's probably fine. And then people are like, no, you should have said. I'm like, no, in general, people don't really want to be talked to. It's okay.
Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I always, what I do, because it's funny because I did this with like, I do it with like people that I admire a lot. Like I went to Michael Vidal from Abe Vigoda the very first time. And I was like, look, I just need to get this out of the way. You're like, I think you have like one of the greatest voices ever, and your music has like meant a lot to me, and Kid City is underrated, and yada yada yada. And then afterwards I was like, I just need to get that out of the way. My name's Jacob. And then we became friends after that, because I just needed to get the fangirl out of me.
Sure.
Just to kind of like break the, because otherwise I'm not going to be cool unless I say these things, and then I can move on. I can be like, because you never know, like I think you have to have these like honest, kind of like thank you sort of moments with people, because who knows, maybe someone's like, I'm not in that moment. Someone could be like, I don't feel good about creating in some sort of way or whatever. I don't know if this is like going anywhere. And then if someone like came up to me and said that, where it's like, a spurt of just like some sort of praise that it's just like, oh, okay, this is why I do what I do. It's like, I can't help it. Like,
it does feel good. It is.
I gotta say,
it's a little ego boost. Sometimes you're just like, ooh,
because I'm like, I need to do it. I need it. Cause it's like, it's just like, cause people, I really like take to heart, like what people have done. So I will be the fucking maniac to go up and be like, you're fucking sick. Like, you're incredible. I love you. You changed my life, sort of things. But then it's like,
it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, except I did it to Cass McCombs, and he was a dick. That's the one time that it backfired. I was like, I gotta say, he was at the Red Lion bar in Silver Lake, and I was like, I gotta say, I have spent so much time listening to your music, and I like your voice. Like you just mean a lot to me. And he was like, I gotta go, and he just left.
Ooh.
And I was like, I'm never gonna do that again. Or I'm not gonna go to like the
what to do. Yeah.
Maybe I don't go up to the moody guy.
I would imagine. Yeah, right, exactly. Well, I remember seeing Elliott Smith as, when I was in my 20s at bars and things.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not going to talk to Elliott Smith. Like, again, but it might have been a similar Cass McCombs thing where, they're going through something and they're at a bar drinking a lot, maybe, or or you're catching them in a spot where it's like,
I feel like Elliott would have been nice.
Sure. Or not, or I don't know. You know what I mean? It was the kind of thing. He wasn't there with friends. He seemed like he was by himself.
Yeah.
And it was, and there was a part of me that wishes like, oh, I wish I would have had this great conversation. It would have inspired me, and he would have told me the secrets of the world and how to write all these beautiful, but chances would have been like,
it probably would have been awkward.
Okay, of course, yeah, and it's okay. I look at it like it wasn't a lost thing. It wasn't. Yeah. I mean, of all the celebrity encounters, the best you hope for is just they do something embarrassing, and then you can tell that story for the rest of your life. So, you know what I mean? It's not the ones where the celebrities are nice and say, "Oh, cool, thanks." Like it's not really much of a story. So, in turn, if it ever happens to you, the best thing you can do is go, "Oh, cool, thanks," and not be a dick or not shit your pants or not like tell them to go fuck themselves. Like
exactly,
just be boring and it all is fine. Be really nice and sincere. Like, yeah, do you want to take a picture? Cool, let's do it. Hey, is this for your friend? You want me to sign something? Cool. What's your name? And you just are really cool. And then there's no story to tell. But the second you try to do anything, like an asshole, that'll live forever.
Oh, exactly. At least. No, you always gotta put the good energy out.
One of the funniest things that ever happened, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but I was at Universal Studios with my son, who was still, he was like 5 or 6, and we were Harry Potters. It was just me and him. We had passes, and I forget why, whatever it was just during the day. We're walking through Harry Potter land, and a guy had a No Age t-shirt on. But it was like the Sub Pop one where we were like playing live. It was kind of our take on Bleach, the Bleach cover kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We're like waiting in line. I kept like in the switchback. I kept seeing him like, cross us and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't look like anybody, but there I'm on the pic, I'm on the shirt. That's my face, kind of blurred under hair or something. Like wasn't like it was like my big portrait, but I was like, that's technically on that guy's shirt. I don't know. This could be a chance to look cool in front of my, 6-year-old son, but he doesn't care. And nobody cares in this moment. I'm like, I care. Like, I want to say something. I want to be hey, nice shirt. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks. I think it was like after the ride, something. But yeah, I was like, nice shirt. He's like, oh, thanks. Yeah, he kind of looked confused. And I was like, I play guitar in that band. I'm like the guy in that band. He's like, what? No way. And then he got awkward. It's like I turned the tables on him, and then he was like, can we take a picture? Or is that weird? I was like, well, yeah, not with my son, but yeah, here. Let's you and me. We could do it. But like I initiated it. Like I basically like bullied him into taking a selfie with me. But I just was like, I can't not say something. We're at a theme park. Like
it's so much, because that's the thing is like, if you do that, if you're like the person to be like, nice shirt, and you're the person that they're like, because they're a fan, so it's like that's gonna mean a lot to them. There's like, oh my god, there's this one time where we just played a festival in, I forget, we were deep in New York somewhere. I think we were in Queens or something. We played this festival. And we get in the van and we're going back to Manhattan where we're staying. And it took forever to get back. But like we see this kid who I'm sure just got off the train, and he was wearing our shirt. And all 4 of us, we just got done playing. So like an hour beforehand or something. So he saw us and then he left, and then he was in the train.
Oh, he like was at the show. Like he just bought the shirt at the show, and now he's going home.
And we're in this van that we hilarious. We were in this van where we like can slide open the door. So we slid open the van door while we were driving. We're like, hey kid, nice shirt. And he like looked over and it says all of us. And he was like, oh my God. And we just drove off.
That's great. I'm sure he's stoked.
It was
how funny
wonderful.
Would that be? Yeah.
There's another time that where I was on the train. I was like house sitting for a friend for like a full month. I was like so depressed by the end of this. I was like taking the subway in Los Angeles to take a bus to like go back to Vegas where I was like living at the time. And I get on. I like had headphones on. I was like listening to some ambient music, just like so sad. And I sit down. It took me forever to like actually get to the train because I was like traveling with these suitcases. I was like walking everywhere, and as soon as I sit down on the subway, I just see all these people like running and like scared. And they looked frightened, and it was like I was like, "What's going on?" And like I look over and it's a guy with a gas mask, and he's holding it up, and I like take off my headphones, and he's just screaming, "You guys are crazy! You guys are crazy! You guys are all crazy!" And I'm just stuck like on this train because I couldn't move. I just had all my stuff, and so it was just me and this guy, and I was like, I'm gonna die. Everything like I'm gonna blow up. He's got a bomb or something because he had this gas mask. So great, why everyone left because he thought that he was gonna do something crazy, and then he ran out of there because he was doing some sort of like anti-war thing or something at the time.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say this was Kanye West. I was like, wait a second, where's this?
I know, yeah,
and
right.
It ended up being I had this 2-hour-long conversation with Kanye on riding the train.
No, but I was gonna die, you know, and then people start getting on the train. This girl comes up and she's like, "Hey, are you Jacob from Surf Curse? Can I take a photo with you?" Like,
oh, jeez. You're like, and like, my heart's still pounding. Like I just was.
I'm dead. And then like this girl just immediately just takes a selfie with me. And like in the photo, because I found the photo like later on, I'm like crying.
Oh God.
Because I thought I was gonna die. And then like this girl comes up to me and just takes a photo. And then it turns out she like became like someone like she's like a awesome like indie rock girl now, and I'm like, amazing. I ran into her bar. I'm like, "You remember that?" And I like told her the whole story, and she's like, "Yeah, that was pretty crazy." I thought I was gonna die too. She's like, "I don't know why you stayed on the train."
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
for this moment, so we could have
just
this
weird. Yeah, just like those weird moments. But like, I don't know. It's like it's always fun to just say hi.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, take the chance after a bomb scare. Go say hi to your favorite musician.
We gotta always pay it forward.
That's it. Awesome, Jacob. Well, I kept you for so long. Thanks so much for coming on,
Randy. It was such a pleasure, man.
Yeah, what's the best way? Let's plug away. What's the best way for people to keep in touch with you and everything you're doing and your new bands and
I'm just on Instagram. If you want to listen to another project that I do, American Moon, listen to that. It's awesome. I do it with my friend Forrest. She's the greatest. And just Google.
Just do the old Google. Google AI will tell you.
Good old Google.
Everything about Jacob. Yeah. That's it. Trust everything you read on the internet and just go from there.
Yeah, trust everything you read.
Yeah, it can't steer you wrong.
Find me on YouTube. Actually, just look up. Find me on YouTube. There's more fun stuff there.
There we go. All right. Well, I'll try to put links to it. I'll do a Google and I'll put some links in the show notes for people to find more information. And thanks so much, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Randy. It was such a pleasure, man.
Dude. How fun was that? Oh, man. Jacob, thank you so much for coming on. It was fun catching up and talking about all the crazy stuff in the world. What a wild ride it is. I can't believe everything that's happened in life, in art, in music. It really is a trip looking back and kind of going through a time machine. I definitely felt like this weekend at the Smell, the PPM 25th anniversary thing, definitely feels like a time machine, man. It's a funny one. I don't really think that much about all the time that's gone by. You sort of live it one day at a time, and then you get an opportunity to see a bunch of old faces and people you hadn't seen in a long time, or think about things. And you go, "Oh my God, what a time machine! How long ago was that?" It really hits you. Really hits you. Runs by you. Wait a second, that was 20 years ago. Wild. Well, it's fun. Must be a sign of living a good life. I hope. It feels like time's just flying by. Jacob, thank you for coming on. Everybody, go to YouTube. Search Jacob Rubeck. His handle on there is at Jacob Rubeck. And then you can also follow him on the Instagram at Jacob__Rubeck. I think that's what that is. It's a long dash. I don't know if that's a different character. And then, go follow Gap Girls. And go to gapgirls.bandcamp.com and check out their record there. Everybody be well. Hope you're doing good. More fun times coming up. Enjoying this fourth season. Be well, everyone. Oh, yeah. Write us at hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. You can find me at randysrandall.com. And subscribe. If you like this show, tell your friends about it. And subscribe if you can. Really does help the show. And, you can leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. That also really helps. So lets other people know that the show is worth listening to and does something to the algorithms there as well. So tell your friends and leave a review and make sure you subscribe. We turn on the automatic downloads. All those things help. It lets me kind of know who's out there listening to it as well. Because I get the reports and I go, okay, people are hearing the show, but also I think more people are listening to the show than I'm getting the numbers on. Maybe that's something to do with downloads or something. Stop all the downloads. But start all the downloads for this podcast if you could. That'd be fantastic. All right. Thank you. Have a good week.
So, and it's a song that we recorded at the Smell, in like 2011, 2012 or something. Like